Hey, today, before I get started with this little project, I would like to tell you a little bit about what's been going on in my life since December, actually. My wife had never been sick in her life. On January 4th, she was diagnosed with lung cancer, stage 4. I need your prayer. So let me get on with this project while you keep Susan in your prayers. Hey, I just now found a perfect stick for my next project. This stick, stand back and show it to you. It's fairly straight as I want them. I don't deal with just perfectly straight sticks. This stick is fairly lightweight on it, tapers down real nice, and it has about an inch at the top. Crystal-like ball. Of course, it's made out of a resin and a combination of various shades of blue. Just perfect for what I have in mind, and stick around. I'm going to show you how I do it. 4 by 36 inch belt sander here that we're going to grind these little points off. A few little nubs where the limbs have been hooked on, and we'll smooth those down and blend those in with the bark, because we're going to leave most of the bark on here. And also don't forget your dust mask when you're doing anything like this, and also safety glasses. So I'll get them on and we'll get busy with this, and I'll show you kind of how that works. Hey, that's got wood showing through right there. I'm going to go right on down and pull it all off. When you get it centered, it's going to be kind of not a real sharp, but a pretty sharp edge right around there, which will allow that ball to sit right down in there, blend in there pretty good. So let's take it over there, and we will embed that right on the top, and I'll show you how we secure that to that top. Now here we are at the drill press, and what I did to drill it safely, I made a jig out of these wooden clamps. Just cut you a V-notch on each side, and I can adjust it to any size ball that I have made. And you see the little indent right there at the bottom of your ball. I'll just stick it right down in there first, and I get it where the top just straight up as possible. Look at it a couple different angles, and you want to get it straight as possible, and then line your drill bit up right in the center and let it go. That's probably enough right there. And take your clamp loose, and now you've got your nice little hole right there, whereby you make sure your dowel pin will go in there, and it does. And we will later epoxy that right in place, just right there. And right in the bottom of that hole, we see we have a punch mark. Now this time, put your 1/4 inch drill in your drill gun, hold it right over the edge, and as square as possible. Just drill your little hole again. Remember, your dowel pin that you have cut is not too long. Of course, you can always adjust that. You just got to check and see if it's down in there long enough to where your ball will seat good. Now that we have the hole drilled in the end here, we have your hole drilled and the dowel pin there. Set that aside, but we want to do that first before we put the finish on. Let it dry, and then we'll come in and put the top on it. Now here, we've got an ounce of Part B epoxy resin with about an ounce of Part A, and you got to mix it up real well. The obstacle stick, and we're all set to go. So I'll get that mixed, we'll be ready to apply it. Make sure that it's mixed good. I stir it between a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Bubbles don't make any difference with this because you're wiping with the glove down, and you're not going to have any bubbles in it. You're wiping the bubbles out. In a small amount here, we're only looking at 2 ounces, and that's mixed pretty well. So I throw the stick away. Now, what I simply do is start wiping it on, and I do that by just pouring a handful of this out. I pour it right in the rubber glove, just like so, and I wipe it on. The compressor kicked on there a little bit while I was talking, so anyway, what I was saying was just to make sure you have a good even coat on everything, just wipe down like that, and take it up and hang it upside down in your dry room, or one way or other. Better than just setting it down somewhere, because it's going to stick to whatever you lay it on. So I have that pretty well done. Let's hang it up in the dry room. We'll be back in the morning to see what it looks like. And we will also then mount the blue ball in the top. Now here I am the next morning, and I have the sticks all dry and finished overnight, and I'm ready to put the blue tip or the blue resin ball on the end. Now I buy this 2-part JB Weld epoxy 4-ounce bottles, and I got the mix A and B. So I just like to get me a scrap piece of cardboard, put a little dab. I'll put about a 1/2-inch glob out there, and I put one right down the side of it. And if you don't put it on top of it, you put it right side of it, you kind of look at it and get them 2 paws about the same. Mix it 50-50, and you get that laid out there on your scrap piece of cardboard. It just takes a small amount. Now I mix that together, and it's ready to go. Now it dries pretty quick, so you don't have much time to work with it. So what I do, I put a little right in that hole. Stick my pen right down in there. Be careful, don't get any epoxy on any other surface of that. Now what you want to do here is put this right down in that cavity. That's what's going to hold it on the home base for you, and just make sure it's right down in there. Now take your blue ball and plunge it right down on there like that. Now your pen and everything is epoxied down on there. Now what we want to do is let it rest peacefully right there till it gets dry, and then we'll take a look and show you what the next step is. Now we'll put on the wrist strap. I've drilled a small 3/16 hole here, and I'll push the 5/32 paracord, and it's blue to match the ball on the end. Pull that paracord through just like we normally do here. Hold the ends even, bring it up snug here, like that. And then we'll tie our first knot in it here. What we're doing now, we're just hiding that hole is what we're gonna do. We're gonna hide that hole, bring it up about the middle between the holes, tighten up really good, and then bring it around and tie it on the other side. Just make just a regular little old slip, tie your shoe knot there. Now the knot is almost gone there. We want to wrap this over that there, and this one, let's see, we're going to have to hide that hole, so we'll have to figure this knot is going to have to go back a little bit. You'll just have to work with it to get that hole covered. Now I can put this one over there. Well, it won't stay, so I'm going to have to get a little super glue to persuade it to stay tight for me. And that requires just a drop of CA glue right on the cord. Now it's not going to come untied. And we will go ahead and, you can put your 2 or 3 of these knots, it don't matter. They're going to look pretty good on there. That's tied up pretty good. Once you get a few wraps on there, they'll stay. But now just to even it out, I'm going to tie one more right here. And what I mean by even it out, see it's sort of thick there and thin wrap here. Once we put this other knot on this side, that's going to even up the score, and it's going to make it pretty much even there. So if we were to put us a square knot right there, that would be good. And right there, we'll pull that right down slowly. And I'm going to push that up against there so it stays nice and tight together. And I'll put me a little bit of CA right there again. Now that will keep that together. Then I come up here, and that's where we put a tie slip knot here, which is just basically tying it over itself like this. Then I go back under, and I just, most of the time, just make a half hitch right here, or make any kind of a knot as long as it slips, but slip it all the way out, and then tie one more knot around locking that half inch in there, and that gives, all that does is give you a spot for your super glue, for your CA again. And I'm going to put a little more CA to hold all this together up here. Now we've got that slips. That'll slip up and down there. That makes a nice slip knot. You go up here a little piece, leave a couple inches sticking out on the end. Let's cut that right there. Didn't have a lot of waste this time. And we'll cut this one right down close to that. Take our heat gun again. And I'm going to melt that a little bit. Push that down. And then we'll take this. Give us a nice little knot on the end of that. Very good. We'll get this stick straightened up and show you what it looks like. Well, I'll tell you, that's about it for this video. See the blue ball, how it sparkles there on the end of this stick? 1 inch at the top. It's got tapers down to less than 3/4 at the bottom, which you still have room to cut off. It's 56 inches tall. Leave it the way it is, or you can cut it off and make it a little shorter. And we had a nice turbine-looking paracord wrap with a nice slip knot on it that's big enough for any wrist. I'll tell you what, if you like this video and don't want to miss any of the forthcoming episodes, be sure to click that subscribe button. Click that little bell. That's what will notify you on the rest of the videos. And also leave a comment and leave me a thumbs up if you can. And one more thing, I'll see you in the next video.